Hi guys, the theme this week is books, which is super exciting for me because books are kind of my thing. I've got a fair few books that you might not have read that I would definitely recommend. I don't know which is my favourite. I won't really go into that because I read a fair few books. The first one, first of all, I read more than anything else sci-fi books, like classic sci-fi. That's a bit nerdy, but that's all less, isn't it? First one, which some of you might have glanced at one point or another, is Ender's Game, which is part of the Ender Saga. It's about this. It's about like a genius kid called Ender who is enlisted into the military and trained up. And it's I wouldn't spoil it for you, but there's also a sort of a secondary series called the Shadow series, which is about a boy that Ender meets in his military school time, but it's from his perspective, it's from the other boy's perspective, and I would argue that it's as good, if not a little bit better. So check both of those series out, Ender Saga and Shadow series. The second of the sci-fi category is the Abhorsen Trilogy, which starts with Sabriel, then Lyriel, then Abhorsen. Now, Sabriel being the first book is obviously a precursor to the other two, but the other two kind of had to be read together. It's about Abhorsen is the title of he's kind of the he or she is kind of the opposite of a necromancer in the way that in the same way that heroes fight evil, they fight necromancers. They stop people being brought back from the dead, like spirits and all that stuff. And it's check it out. I know I'm trying not to spoil things for these books because they're really good. I hope you do read them. The next series, because sci-fi books tend to be in series, is the Hyperion Cantos, which is set quite far into the future, where man has colonised a fair few planets, and there is a planet called Hyperion with these buildings, artifact building heights called the Time Tombs, and they have a monster kind of thing guarding it called the Shrike, and there are these people who go on pilgrimage, and all while they're travelling to these Time Tombs, supposedly sent from the future, the whole human civilization hegemony of man is breaking out in war and collapsing around them. It's sort of it's a great kind of chronicle of complete collapse and just sort of comment on various aspects of society and how it might turn out. It's quite good. It's a lovely little prediction, and you can see it kind of panning out that way. Plus it has like cool scary AIs, which is always good. I will also recommend anything by a man named Robert Heinlein. He wrote Starship Troopers. You've probably heard of that. He wrote oh god, he wrote so many books. Starman Jones. He wrote Stranger in a Strange Land, and The Moon is a Half Mistress, and a bunch of others that you should just have a look at. They're quite short, and I got given a couple by my dad, and he sort of said, "I'll read these," and they just blew me away. It was fantastic. They were really just, you get caught up in them when you read them in like a day, and it's just there's so many of them. It's like eating a chocolate bar. You just do it because it's fun, and you don't have to really. Okay, you might spend all your time doing it, and you might have wasted your time, but as an occasional treat, definitely pick up a Heinlein book. In terms of non-sci-fi books, not as many, but I will recommend this series called The Tales of Otori, which is set in these islands just outside Japan in sort of ancient Japanese culture kind of thing, when they still had swords and samurais and that sort of thing, where there is this group of people with the tribe who are like assassins and thieves, and they have semi powers like being invisible and things like that, like ninja crap like that. It sounds silly, but actually it is like an amazing. It's sort of half war, half love story, half kind of sort of discovering of who this character decides to be, and he can go any number of paths. He can, because he's got a choice to be part of the tribe or be take the place of a warlord, or he can go off and run off with this girl. And he, I won't spoil it, but again, it's I loved it. And lastly, there is this. It's less really a novel, more of a sort of philosophical, book called The Unbearable Lightness of Being by Milan Kundera. He's a guy from Czechoslovakia, and he wrote about it's a story about this couple who sort of the time is a little bit sort of wibbly wobbly, but it starts off with a question of whether you would, of the idea of eternal return. So, say there's a theory that pops around that the universe, when it's finished expanding, will collapse and then re-expand, and that will be an exact replica and repeat of what happened before. So anything you do during your life will repeat itself an infinite times. It will just keep going, and whatever you choose to do will be permanent and will happen again and again. But there is the other theory, obviously, that the universe will just end and whatever you did will not matter, and that is lightness, the idea of your existence being so light and free, because if the universe just ends, you can do whatever and it will just have happened and it won't matter, because everything will end anyway. But if the universe repeats again and again infinitely, everything you do matters so much because it happens for eternity, and that would be a heavy existence. And it talks about which one is preferable. Would you prefer a completely meaningless existence, a light existence where nothing you do actually matters, or would you prefer to have such pressing responsibility on what you do because it will happen forever again and again? It's semi-serious, and it's got a bit of lovey stuff if you like that sort of thing, and it's a fantastic story about the troubles this couple have, and what they think about, and it's very cleverly mixed in with these ideas that this guy has. Aside from a couple of classics that you probably read, like things like 1984 and Grapes of Wrath, which is a great little thing if you want to know about how people dealt with the Great Depression in America, things like that. I won't go into that too much because they're quite well-known books, and some of you probably read them, whatever. But those are a few of the books that I have really gotten into, and I read again and again, and that you might not have heard of anyway. So I won't choose a favourite because I don't like to pick and choose. I feel like it would make the other books feel bad. So I will say goodbye, I suppose, and I hope